All right, let's review the 29 August, turn 5. All right, more changes going on. Lee and Longstreet are starting to pull their force together and moving east. They've driven Banks' Second Corps pretty much out of the way. McDowell's Third Corps, which is weird. I can't find anything in the rules about this, but you would think that once Ricketts ran back through McDowell, he would be alerted and be able to move. But I can't find that rule anywhere. I might need to get some verification on that. I probably need to get the scenario setups that were done by Multiman, the remake of these. And that First Corps sitting right there still can't move, and Buford still can't move. So, but maybe that's the way it was. I mean, not necessarily those units, but maybe those things happened. All right, so we know Manassas Junction got destroyed. All right, Bev Robertson damaged the station right there underneath Smith. But now the Union 6th Corps from the Army of the Potomac has come out of the D.C. area. There's Franklin right there. And Sumner's 2nd Corps also came out. Some of these smaller brigades are going to move forward and get in some of these railroad hexes here. So the Confederates have damaged one railroad, and they have destroyed two, Jackson and Ewell. A.P. Hill, he got all his strength back and tried to attack Porter, knock him out of there, and it rolled terrible and it put him right back into the state he was in before he recovered. So he's got to recover all over again. And the Union's they're starting to mass a little bit. This kind of weak down here, and I think the Confederates can possibly deal with them. But these two forces are pretty decent size coming in up here. So we're going to see, it looks like now the Union forces from the D.C. area are going to drive towards Jackson and down the railroad. Or at least they got to try to stop them from damaging any more stations, keep them bottled up. So I figure the Union's going to have to secure this down here so that Longstreet with Lee can't do any damage. And then they need to secure where Porter is, which so far so good. And then secure all of these up here so that the Confederates can't do any more damage. Because you can see the victory points right now. I'm getting ready to do the recovery phase for this turn. But not a mass victory yet. But the Confederates, I believe they're just barely into a Confederate marginal victory. All right, so we're going to move along to the August 30 turn and see what happens. And as soon as we're done, we'll get you updated. All right, see you soon. All right, let's review the August 30 turn. There's only one left. First thing is, you're going to notice up here those flat blue markers, plus there's one under the 2nd Virginia. That's actually another victory point locations where any Confederate units, brigade and up, that are in or adjacent to those at the end of the game, they get victory points. And right now, those would push the Confederates into a victory if the war doesn't end right now. So, to thwart that, we have this Force 11, which is Sumner's 2nd Corps from the Army of the Potomac, McClellan, which, by the way, I was talking earlier about the way the units were dispositioned at the start. So, Pope, his Army of Virginia was screening the Army of Northern Virginia for McClellan's troops to finish moving back into Northern Virginia from the peninsula in his failed efforts down there. So that's why there were units like the 5th Corps, Morrell, or Porter, I should say, with his divisions. That's why they came in down here. Okay, so there's one explanation for Pope not being able to get everything together at one time. And why McClellan didn't come out sooner, I'll never understand. So anyhow, one of McClellan's corps is moving there, and Bev Robertson's cav just did a great job. I don't think he's going to be able to stop him though on this next turn. Maybe he might get lucky. Now, you see Jackson's surrounded there. Okay, so playing the advanced rules with supply and stuff, there'd probably be an ill effect, I'm sure. I don't know. I'll get into advanced rules of these games later. However, my idea was to do an assault and turn it into a grand assault. And there's this rule that when you conduct, you got to do the assault phase first, and then in step 6 of the assault phase, you can attempt a grand assault. You can convert it. The problem is during the assault phase, if you roll an unmodified die roll of 6 for the assault roll to determine how many units can go in, the assault immediately ends. It doesn't take place. So I started with Heinzelman. I rolled that 6, and the assault stopped immediately. And he was going to bring in units from the division's Pope, the core Pope has underneath him. So I said, okay, well, that was a figure. I'm not going to get Jackson out there, maybe next turn. So then I went up, but the problem is these units over here in Heinzelman, they took fatigue. All right, so I went over here and said, okay, well, let's move Pope. Let's do a core activation. Let's move Porter's 5th Corps pair because AP Hill was disorganized. And let's bust him in fatigued, I think. No, disorganized. And let's bust him in the chops while he's only a 10 strength. So I had to do an assault with once the 2 units were there and rolled a 6 again. So all they did was accumulate fatigue. Meanwhile, the turn ended. AP Hill got restored back to full strength and he's no fatigue. I think that these rail stations up here, I think they're going to be fairly secure because the Confederates are too busy trying to, one, Jackson's not going anywhere, and Stewart and AP Hill are going to have to try to get in and hang around these hexes up here, these victory locations. So I don't think there's going to be any more railroad destruction done unless Lee and Longstreet can get something going and drive Banks out of that one and destroy it. McDowell, Buford, and Sigel, like I say, according to the rules, they will have zero effect on this entire scenario. Hampton's cavalry came in, and the Confederates get McLaw's division, and McLaw's and D.H. Hill's divisions come in on this turn too. I don't know what effect they'll have on the fight. One thing's for sure is we'll be able to stretch the limits on this last turn to fatigue level 4 in order to either win attack as the Union and drive Confederates out and get points, or for the Confederates to hold the positions they got and keep those places up there. So it's right now the Confederates at the end of that turn are sitting on, it's 33 victory points. If you're to add, Stewart, the 2nd Virginia, just those 2 units right there being in those hexes, it would push them up over the 35 needed to get a Confederate margin of victory, if nothing else happened right now. So you see how close this is. So we're going to finish this off. We'll try to finish this off tonight and get this review done. Right now I got the turn 4 partial live play I did processing right now. I'll get that on YouTube hopefully tonight. And then the last few turns I'll get them published here within the next day or so. And then I hope to do a review, which I'm sure I will. And then I want to do a little instructional on how to play the base rules of this game, because I'm going to tell you what, you don't have to go into the advanced. Now, great, yeah, the advanced will give you more detail to the game with supply and stuff like that. But if you want to play this game and not be bogged down with rules, not that they're good rules, don't get me wrong, because each scenario will have its own special things. But play through it and not be overwhelmed and enjoy it and get a good reflection of the campaign, then I'm telling you, the base rules is the way to go. I have enjoyed it. Don't necessarily need to play the advanced rules, but I want to because I know there's some interesting little things in there that will affect how the campaigns go. All right, so let's move on to the final turn, August 31st, and I'll update you after that. See you then. All right, let's wrap up Rappahannock to Bull Run, Scenario 5. The Rappahannock to Bull Run campaign. We just finished the August 31st turn. And let's see how things ended up. Well, the Confederates were going to try to get some more victory points by assaulting Banks. 2nd Corps from the Army of Virginia. And both times, Longstreet, who's under Lee there, let's see, rolled a 6 for his assault both times, which canceled out the assault and fatigued the units, and they didn't even do anything. McClaw's and Hill, that's about as far as they got to where they're fatigue level 3 there. They could have gone one more fatigue level 4, but I didn't see any purpose in that. Sigel's 1st Corps never moved. McDowell never moved with that division underneath him. And Buford never moved. I really think that's kind of odd. I have to post on Consum World about that and ask. Bev Robertson, he got chased away. He's fatigued 4. They were trying to hold these hexes up here to get those couple extra victory points. Sumner's 2nd Corps, they shot across and they were able to scatter. They scattered 2 of the cavalry units away, but Hampton was able to move in there because they chased off that cavalry unit. So he was able to move in. So the Confederates got 4 points for the 2 brigades there. Hampton and the one underneath Stewart for being adjacent to, I think that's Newmarket. Hill was going to back up, but he's fatigue level 4. There's nothing he can do anymore. And that brigade cut him off, and like I said, he can't do anything. So Porter, he was unsuccessful against A.P. Hill. He was never able to, didn't even disorganize him. Jackson, he fought off twice, I think, over the last couple turns. Heintzman tried to assault, and then they tried to grand assault. And then Franklin, he went the last turn here. He went to assault, ended up only with 1 division able to do it. And Jackson caused that 1 division 5 manpower points lost. That was a killer blow. But, the Union was trying to take the only way they're getting victory points is taking, they keep the Confederates from getting them. And when they get too many, they got to cause manpower losses in order to reduce the victory points for the Confederacy. Pope, he was never able to do anything. He was they're completely exhausted and fatigued. These guys down here, same way, just nothing. They really couldn't get nothing going. So it ended. The Confederates did lose. The 2nd Virginia finally got smoked, and that cost them a point. And I thought, oh, there's a stunner right there. That might hurt. At one point might hurt. All right, so here we go. We totaled it all up with getting points for destroying that railroad station, destroying the Union Supply Depot, destroying that railroad station, damaging that railroad station, all right, and being adjacent to or in that hex at Manassas Junction. The Confederates got points for that. So when it's all said and done, the Confederates got 56 victory points. And you go over here to the chart, which says 55 to 74 is a Confederate substantive victory. So they just barely eked into the 2nd tier of a victory. So the Army of Northern Virginia gets a win on this one. What a great play this game was. I enjoyed the daylights out of this. I think we're going to do a review here. That'll be next. And might try to do some instructional. Just maybe covering how to play this in the basic. Just to try to give you the major rules under the basic game. Because I think this is a great game to play with the basic rules. And it's probably even better with the advanced rules. All right, well, we get around to that. We'll get back to you. Hey, if you're enjoying these things, give me a like. Click the old like button there. If you got some criticism, positive or negative, hey, give me something. I'll take it. Help me get better at this stuff. If you want to keep up to date, click subscribe and click on that little bell so that you get notified when I make a new one. Okay, we'll come back shortly with a review and we'll do some instructional stuff. Thanks for watching.